Hello, Bob. Matt, you joined. Yay.
What's up, people?
Hello, Bob.
How's it
Hey,
going?
Bob.
Hello, Matt. Hello, Warren.
Hey,
Hey
Matt.
guys,
I
how are
think
you?
if it weren't for Charles, we'd have a full board here.
We're missing Brian. Where's Brian? I miss him.
No, Brian signed up. Let me just say that I know that,
Okay,
that
cool.
everyone signed up, but Charles apparently can't make it last minute. So good to see you, Matt.
Nice to see you guys. Happy winter, I should say. Maybe
I
spring
know.
is in the air. It's not 20 degrees.
I know. Well, they said basically that I think I heard today, oh, the sunset's going down later, and I'm like, okay, it's not spring yet, but that's
Not
okay.
fast enough.
It's changing by 2 minutes a night or something apparently like that. Hi, Lisa.
It's in the
Hi.
right direction.
Hey, Warren. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. Recovered two grandchildren in 1 year last year, so
Oh my gosh.
Wow,
a little
congratulations.
busy around here.
That's awesome. But we had about 35, 36 people sign up, and there'll be drop off, of course. We've had a couple of people already say that they're not able to make it, but the recording will go out to everybody. So we're excited to see everybody. Hello, Lisa. Hey, Janet. Hey, Marty. Anju. Hello. There's
Hey,
Kat.
Janet. Long time no see.
I
We
know,
had lunch
Janet,
yesterday.
congratulations.
Thank you. I know I'm gonna have to go off video at some point to eat said lunch again today, but
Okay.
I'm
No,
happy to be here.
just got a new job, right? New position?
Yeah, about 3 months ago, so I'm super
Yeah.
pumped.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, Janet and I had lunch. She's in Reston Town Center, so we had lunch yesterday, and then she gave me a mini tour of their office.
Oh, really?
Where I am
Where
again
Kathy and
today.
I saw Shireen.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Nice.
she
Hi,
was here too.
Janet.
She's here again today. Hey,
Yeah.
Kathy.
Hey, hi, Elizabeth. Yeah,
Hello. Hey, Kathy.
I'm having some problems with my blinds. I kind of
Oh.
look like I have war paint on though, don't I?
That's right. Yeah.
Kind of like that. Yeah.
Like the football player.
Barry, we haven't seen you in a long time. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well.
Oh, good.
Was somebody just saying there's a challenge with Zoom? I literally got off of Zoom a half an hour ago, and that one too was having trouble. So I wonder if it's Zoom today.
Oh, that would be just like typical fate, right? Oh, we'll cross our fingers. It is Friday the 13th. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
So how are you doing, Elizabeth?
I'm doing well. Thank you. We've got a nice, healthy group here today. So Barry was one of the people that would always come in person. It was great when we had these things in person. Well, many of the people on the call here were, but
Yeah,
it's
I
good to
haven't
see
seen
these faces.
and I haven't seen Bob for a long time. You're looking good, Bob.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Bob's out in Delaware now. Moved
Yes,
to-
I've
Oh, that's great.
departed or escaped the tech community of DC. I miss you guys.
And where? I'm sorry. Where are you now?
Not far from Bethany Beach in
Nice.
Delaware. Yeah,
Congratulations. That's awesome.
thanks. Not retired.
Not
I'm
retired,
actually
but
I'm
just
actually coming
okay.
up to Wilmington this weekend for something. So
It's okay to be retired adjacent.
Yes, for sure. Oh,
I
there's
like that. I might borrow that, Janet.
Excuse me.
hello, Patrick. How are you doing?
Good.
Think-
Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. Look
Hey,
forward to the
Patrick.
Yes,
conversation.
we're going to give it a couple more minutes because we think we still have a few more folks that have planned to come on in. So,
Okay, great.
small world story. I was walking my dog the other day, and my neighbor came out and said, "Elizabeth." I said, "What?" He said, "You know Patrick Kehoe?" And I said, "I do. Do you know him?" "Yes, I knew him." And now, unfortunately, I don't know his last name. All I know is his name is Steve, and his wife is Sophia. But I don't know if that rings a bell at all. But I'll ask him his last name one of these days.
What town were you walking your dog, or where were you?
In Vienna,
Oh
Vienna,
gosh.
Michigan.
Yeah, I used to live in Vienna. So Steve and who's the one?
Sophia is his wife.
Sophia. Oh gosh.
I just
Let
don't
me,
think I've ever gotten their last name. I mean,
yeah,
been
let
in the
me,
house and
let me,
everything, just
let me
never.
think about it. That's funny.
It's kind of funny. The small world story. He just had like he ran out of the house to say, I just saw it on LinkedIn that Patrick Kehoe.
Yeah, we
Apparently,
all
they
know
don't
each other.
know Patrick as well as they think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we all know each other's dogs' names.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of funny. Right, people are still coming in,
Well,
so
Patrick and I figured out that my son is good friends with his cousin, right, Patrick?
Yeah, my
Son.
cousin's son,
Yeah.
right, is friends
So
with
I've
your
known
son.
those other Kehoes for a very long time, since kindergarten, basically.
It is a
Is
small
that like
world.
the Louise family? Is that
Yep.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
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 Mike is my cousin,
Hmm.
and he's
Yeah.
married to Louise.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Small worlds.
I know them too because our kids went to the same school.
Yep. Hey, Nicole, welcome.
yes,
there.
How'd you make it?
a lot of new
Thank you.
faces. Hello, Hunter. Haven't seen you in a while.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Hunter, I was just hanging out with your wife.
She said that. She said that. And she said you guys couldn't remember where you first met, and it was at that rooftop
Yep.
association event.
Yeah. It's always DCALive. It always comes back
Yeah.
to DCALive.
Oh, it's Doug.
Yeah. Hey, Noosh. Been a while.
Hey there. Good to see you guys.
Same.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just get this kicked off as I think we're just on one screen, at least on my side, so I can see everybody, I believe. Is this for anyone that's their first meeting? Can you raise your hand? So a few folks, yes. Well, nice to see you here. I put the TMA DC into the chat, the website for the TMA group, the Technology Marketing Alliance. We're really excited to have another kick-ass meeting today. Am I allowed to say that?
You just did.
Okay. And this is being recorded. And this will also be recorded and be sent to everybody that has registered. I wanted to do a couple of things first. Oh, here comes Brian. For those of you that are new, just tell you a little bit about TMA. The Technology Marketing Alliance was an organization that several board members and myself founded in, drumroll please, the year 2006.
Happy anniversary.
Which means it's the 20th year of TMA. And
Which means we're all old.
I know.
It means that too.
But I will say that, as demonstrated by some of the banter before this meeting is kicked off, this event is kicked off. It's a very interactive and I believe somewhat of a tight-knit community of CMOs that have come together over the years to create a community. The whole purpose of TMA is to help educate, to help amongst your peers, develop some rapport and community and help us all to grow and be better chief marketing officers. So Brian, I'm so glad you joined because I saw you on the list. Brian is one of the original founding board members. So he has been with us for 20 years. Are you going to go on video, Brian, or are you just, or no, unfortunately. Okay. Anyway, there you go. Okay. All right.
You have grandkids. Oh my gosh, how cute is that?
I
Oh my
have a
gosh.
teammate. I am grandfather daycare on Fridays often. So my teammate Wesley is joining with us today.
Oh, excellent. So, Brian, thank you for your 20 years of service. We also have Bob London. Where's Bob London? There you go. We have Matt Howard. And has Yama joined yet? No Yama yet. He did register. Brian Reed, of course, and Charles. I think Charles wasn't able to come, and of course, Warren. So thank you. And Cindy, oh, of course, our speaker du jour. Cindy's also on the board. So it's been a really nice nice run, a fun run. So that means that we have to have a 20th anniversary party. So for those of you that are in the DC area, we're planning to have a get together in person this summer sometime. So stay tuned for that particular date. All right. I also want to introduce to you Isabella Todia, who is somewhere. Maybe raise your hand if you can see her. She is the new coordinator for the TMA group. She is going to be taking over the reins from Sam. Are you there, Sam? Yes,
I am. Hello.
Who has been with us for the last 3 years. So you'll see a new face, but Sam is still here just because, you can't stay away, right? All right, so that's a couple little pieces of housekeeping. In the event that you have a question that's burning and you want to put it into the chat, please do. But I believe that Sue, who's going to be moderating this panel, would like to keep as many as we can till the end because there's a lot we want to cover. So as far as the topic of the program today, it's something that's been on many of our minds, I believe. And this was inspired probably about 6 months ago when Sue came to us and said, you know, my business partner, Kathy McConnell, who's also on the call, they ran a marketing recruiting firm, and they were talking to candidates all day long. And some of the conversations about organizational change came up. They have both since sold their firm successfully and exited and moved into new directions. So before I turn it over to you, Sue, I will say congratulations to the both of you for
Thank you.
your next generation and your next, whatever you call it, next journey. All right, I will, without further ado, turn it over to you, Sue, and you can perhaps talk about the whole inspiration for this. It was such an active program last time in July that everyone had asked to do a part two. So this is part two. So welcome to part
Well,
two.
thank you.
It's good
Thank
to
you
see
for that
you.
awesome introduction. I'll try to live up to our kick-ass expectations. So as Elizabeth said, Sue Keith, I know most of you all, but for the new folks, welcome. Brian's grandson was 8 when they started TMA, and he now has a grandchild. So how's that for feeling old? So as Elizabeth mentioned, Kathy and I for 13 years ran a recruiting firm that specialized in marketing positions, primarily working with tech companies like your own. And we had a lot of conversations over the last year or so. There was a lot of chatter around what AI could do, but when we pushed and said, okay, what are you doing with it? What tools are you using? The answers got a little fuzzier. So that's when we kind of came up with like, we need to talk about this because this train is coming for marketing leaders and they either need to get ahead of it or they're going to get run over by it. So that was the inspiration for the conversation we had last summer. We're following it now. A lot has happened in the 6 to 8 months that it's been. So we're going to talk about that. And so today we have 3 incredible marketing leaders who are going to be talking about their AI journeys themselves. We're hoping we'll be done by 1 hour time, Eastern time, I should say. Hoping, like Elizabeth said, to leave at least 10 minutes towards the end for Q&A. If you do have a question, throw it in the chat, but if it can wait, please do so. And with that, I want to introduce or have themselves introduce Cindy, Megan, and Mike, who are panelists for today. And what we're going to specifically talk about is how AI is kind of affecting or changing the work their teams do. Has that had impact on the way your teams are organized and structured in terms of org charts? And then finally, like I said, we're going to do some use cases at the end where each is going to talk about an actual AI technology that is they've implemented and tools to do what I simply say is do marketing better. As Elizabeth calls them, we're going to do some show and tell at the end because, like I said, as we talked to folks, there was a lot of big words about what AI could do. But then when we said, okay, what tool are you using to do what? The answers weren't so clear. So I think it would be helpful for everybody to hear, what's getting done. It's maybe something you might want to consider for your own organization. So with that, let's start by each of the panelists introducing themselves and then background, kind of what your company or former company does and did. And then fill in the blank to this question with ideally 1 or 2 words is AI is making marketing more blank. So Cindy, I'm going to go in alpha order. Cindy, let's start with you.
Okay, happy to. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to see. I recognize most of the faces here. I'm Cindy Zhou. I'm a board member of TMA. I'm a career marketer. And as of last week, I was at the cybersecurity company KnowBe4. And new company will be announced very soon. So stay tuned for that. But absolutely love this whole journey of cybersecurity. I've been in it for over 7 years now and done lots and lots of different kinds of B2B marketing companies, all software, procurement, data, telecom, and really love the cyberspace. There's a whole big mission to it on helping people avoid the scams and helping companies protect themselves against ransomware and stuff. I just absolutely love this space. So Sue, to answer your question, I'm saying AI is making marketing ideate more clearly. And I will be happy to explain that later.
All right, great. Megan.
Perfect. Thanks for having me here today. My name is Megan Lueders. I am a 5-time CMO. I have dabbled in a lot of different industries. most recently in cyber, and the company was in the Baltimore area, Baltimore, Columbia area to be specific. And so thank you for welcoming me. I am a native Texan. I am based in Austin, but frequented the area quite often and really, really admire the landscape. It's quite different than Austin. And like I said, I've dabbled in a lot of different industries from cyber. I actually did a stint at semiconductor for a little while. That is a one and done. It's very different. But in all of the roles, technology obviously played a critical role in what we did. But now with AI, it is absolutely changing the landscape. And the word that I've chosen to say, how is AI making marketing more ambitious? And it's from top down, left to right. We are much more ambitious in how we are delivering, but thinking about the roles that we play. And excited to talk a little bit more about that with each of you.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks for being here. All right,
Yes.
Mike.
Great. Hey, everyone. Nice to meet you, Mike Morper. I think I've been a member of TMA since about 2010. So my very first meeting with Elizabeth, she was not only trying to get my company's business, but also signing me up to be a member of TMA. So
And we didn't
it's
even
been-
get your business.
no.
That's
She
all right.
reminds me of that frequently. Anyways, I have had a mix of product management and product marketing throughout my career. It has all been enterprise software, a lot of business process automation, dealing with imagery and audio workflows, a fair bit of AI, in fact. Currently, Matt and I are partnered working together at Virtru. We're a data security company, very different than most cybersecurity companies. We're really focused on helping our customers be able to, with confidence, share the most sensitive information. So I'll leave it there, but happy to be here and see some friendly faces again. And my answer to AI is making marketing what? I'm going to say efficient, and happy to talk much more about that in a bit as well. Back to you, Sue.
Thank you all for that. All right, starting with our first question, which is, what questions are your management team, CEO, and our board asking you about AI? And we'll start with Cindy, because not only is she being asked, she's being ranked and assessed.
For sure. And I know Megan, I'm going to invite Megan to also participate in this question too, because both of us were at a Vista Equity Partners company. And many of you, if you just Google Vista Equity and you hear the founder and CEO, Robert Smith, he's talking all about the agentic AI factory that Vista is building. And so all of the portfolio companies within the Vista ecosystem, and they own over 90 of them, are being ranked into, quadrants of how AI is your company. And they're measuring on a host of different, kind of categories, but mainly it's A, do you have an agentic product in market that you're selling to customers? And also internally, how much of the company is embracing AI and using AI to power efficiency and productivity and all those good things and cost savings and all that. So with that being said, definitely you can imagine our board meetings are very much questions on how are you using AI? There's a scorecard that you have to fill out, and it is quite intense. So I would definitely say that is top of mind on board member, at least for my experience. The board member's mind is always on what are you doing with AI? How are you doing it better, faster, cheaper, all those good things. Megan, I'd love
Yeah,
to.
that's 100%. It is the most common theme in every conversation. And to be more specific, it's well beyond marketing. So it's not just the marketing function, it is HR. What are we doing? How are we rethinking our processes and workflows and finance and accounting? So it really is a conversation that spans well beyond just one department. What is unique, though, in the conversations is the focus on marketing to be a leader in the journey, right? Knowing it's not just the development world. Of course, we assume and we think that engineering is going to absolutely take the lead to embed it within the product to be an AI company or have AI features and capabilities that we promote. But more than that, it's what are we doing as marketing leaders to, I'll say, lead by example so that these other departments can embrace, take hold to the point, and I'm sure we'll get into this, that we've created an AI department, a true AI department, and I'm seeing that trend in more and more companies that we can get into and talk a little bit about how that's structured later in the conversation.
Cool. I think from my perspective, what is very clear is the dramatic change from curiosity and are all the companies kicking the tires in playing with this new AI curiosity. It's no longer an option, it's mandatory. And as cross-functional leaders, we have an obligation to the business, to the board, to the shareholders, to find those efficiencies, to find ways to be able to produce the outcomes that each of the departments need. I think that lens was initially on the engineering organizations, sure, trying to figure out how to put 2 scoops of AI maybe into your product, but equally, or perhaps even more importantly, how are they using it to improve efficiency through their CI/CD process, as an example? What percentage of commits are now being done by AI itself? So while I think there's a bright light there, I think that bright light is going to start panning into other groups, and no other group, I think, is better suited for taking advantage of agentic processes than marketing organizations.
I like that you said, everyone has said that marketing needs to take a leadership role in this, because one of the other reasons I said to Elizabeth, I think we need to have a conversation about this, is the loudest narrative was coming out of BC&P firms, where it was AI is going to replace marketing. And if marketing didn't get out in front of that and show that that is just a couple of truths to that, but it's not going to replace the function. That I think it's really important to marketing have that have that leadership role within the organization of overseeing AI implementation across the enterprise. And I think, Megan, you used the word journey, and so I want to turn to Mike and say, let's talk about your particular organization's AI journey, literally from the day you heard the words ChatGPT, which is the first word we heard, to where you are now. Take us through that story.
Yeah, so marketing team specific, it very much was a curiosity. And so I think we all started, went to, chatgpt.com or claude.ai and started playing with the tool. And I think we all kind of very quickly got to a point saying, I asked for it to give me something, and what came back wasn't fantastic. So it's really interesting how we've all learned that you need to give a lot of context to the tool. And I will say the need for context, whether it's me just ad hoc trying to produce a business brief, or we are trying to figure out how to produce copy for a campaign, has really become something that we have continued to expand upon and find better ways, more efficient ways, more consistent ways to produce that content, context. And as a result, we are producing better content. So thinking back, I don't know, 2 years ago, 18 months ago, whenever that, what's an LLM came across our inboxes, we are now to a point where we are finding ways to produce agentic workflows, to be able to produce these outcomes, but to be able to leverage common context that each of the functions within our teams can be able to benefit from. So we have a consistent voice, consistent set of deliverables. So it's really interesting how quickly that journey has advanced from, garbage in, garbage out to where we are now.
Yeah. Megan or Cindy, do you want to add kind of specifics around, I first told my team to go do something with AI, to kind of where you are today, without getting too much into the use case?
Yeah, I'll give a quick example, and these are things that everyone could do. Before ChatGPT, I went to the team. We were going to do an all hands meeting. Everyone was coming into Fulton, and chat was not a common discussion point. But what were tools were getting better. Like, oh, we should be able to produce a video. I should be able to gen up something very quickly. And so I challenged every single person on the team that prior to coming for all hands, they all had to use a tool that they did not know. They needed to experiment with a tool to become familiar with it. And then they were to produce a 1 minute video of what they learned, achieved, and what the outcome was. And then we voted. We all had to watch all the videos. It was just more for learning, rated them. And then when they came in person, they got to present what the use case was. From there, it started the creative thinking like, okay, well, this was good. And this was AI technology and tools that could make us be better and smarter. And then lo and behold, chat becomes more proficient and something we're talking about all the time. And the next big turning point was when I made it an MBO. So part of our OKRs was that we had to achieve not only an efficiency goal through the use of AI, but we expected to see an improvement across pipeline and some of our other marketing metrics through taking advantage of the big broad term AI. And when I put it in as an MBO, it was a forcing function. So it was not optional. We gave a teaser early days of like, just go experiment, go think about some other use cases you can use it for, to now we're going to be gold on it. And having that in place really forced people to think differently about their job. And if you advance to where we are today, the biggest difference is that when we're having discussions or brainstorming sessions across the ELT, or we're doing a deep dive on a product, rather than someone posing a question to say, gosh, I'd love to understand the correlation between this and that. Oh, well, I'm going to have to get back to you in 2 weeks or a week. I got to pull data. I've got to go lean on someone. We're pulling up Claude right there in the meeting and we're typing in exactly what we want. And the answer has been presented. And that is a game changer because it expedites the decision. So when we try, to Cindy's point of how do we quantify some of the value that we're producing so that we can tell Vista and others, like this is how we're changing our business. That is how real time AI has now been infused into our workflows, up until the point that we've got full-time teams. But that was kind of a bit of the journey story for us.
Great. Right. All right. Time for our first audience participation. We're going to do a poll to set up our next question. So Isabella, if you want to pull that up, please. All right. So what percentage of your team is what you would call AI fluent? So take a minute to fill that out. And we can have an whole argument about how you define AI fluent, but we'll just go with whatever you think it is.
And actually, Sue, while people are taking the poll, maybe before we share the results, we can have as many people as possible come on video and we can take a picture.
Ooh,
Since it's our first program of our 20th year.
All right, you're all being brought back.
Okay. Is everyone good? We can end the poll, I think.
All right, hang on. All right, Nicole's got to sit. All right.
Did someone say cheese?
Okay, so let's take a photo.
Ready?
Oh, Brian's even coming on. That's awesome.
Oh, Brian, bring the baby.
Ready?
I'll take it. Everybody smile in 3, 2, 1. I'll take one more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Nice thinking promotion. All right.
Share the results.
Sharing the results here.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting, pretty equal spread across 25 to 50, 50, 75, and 75 to 100.
This is great.
I'm not sure what I was expecting, but this is really interesting.
Yeah, this is really good.
Okay. All right. At least we have nobody who is completely not fluent. Okay. Next question. And it's one I teed up earlier is, so how has your organization changed the layout, if you will, with the advent of AI? And it probably has changed several times, the journey we're just talking about. And then are there certain roles, kind of more traditional roles, that are simply disappearing or maybe merging into others, and are new ones showing up that we couldn't have anticipated 5 years ago? And Megan, why don't we start with you?
Sure. So I'll start with the kind of the cool, sexy one that we just implemented, which was we have now a dedicated owner of kind of the central hub for AI innovation. And the goal with that role was, how can we understand how each of the businesses are using AI, or where we're stuck? Like what is a problem that I do, a repetitive problem every day that I do, and how how can we help make that more efficient? So, and I've seen that pop up in multiple companies, not just ones I'm affiliated with, but multiple companies are going to that model. Very common. And where it sits is very interesting too. Like who owns that? Is it IT? Is it not IT? I was just on a call last week where the CMO got embedded into the IT organization actually. And that is where all of that hub of excellence is. So that's one thing. The biggest reshaping of the organizations that I'm seeing is instead of a lot of the junior roles, I'll call them junior IC roles that were rinse and repeat, they were a process oriented. All of that is being eliminated in the sense of I don't need that person to do that. I need them to do something else. And so it's just we've automated the workflows to where I still need the people, but that landscape has changed. The other couple things, so like I call it functional silo works, is moving to more of centralized roles because I can do it through workflows. I've got some specific people that are AI oriented, and I'm taking my marketing ops leaders and team members, and I'm changing their charter to be much more AI focused. And again, the conduit to others in the team. But then it's roles that even Mike spoke to about how do we accelerate content where I don't need a content writer. I need someone to help ensure that the content that AI is generating can be verified. I'm looking at the demand gen side and digital, and I'm plugging that into models to where I'm not required to have all the same number of demand gen people. I can do that with fewer people. And so it frees me up. And the skill set's rising. And so I'm investing heavier on the leadership side and not as much in the individual contributor side because of it as well.
Yep.
Mike, go ahead.
I'll hop in here. We're experiencing a lot of similar pattern to what Megan just brought up. We kicked off, actually it may have started last summer. We created a function that is centered in our ops team that is looking after agentic workflows across the business. So we made a conscious decision to put it in ops as opposed to another place because of that view they have across the business. Right. Many of the activities that we wanted to focus on first were associated with our go-to-market function. And many of those folks had RevOps obligations. Our marketing automation lead is a critical role in this cross-functional team. And now we're starting to invest in individuals that are looking directly after AI governance itself to be members of that function. So very consistent pattern there. The one thing that I'll offer up, and this is just a personal thing, I now have, when I'm recruiting people, I now have a blackball question. And my blackball question is, tell me an experience you've had success or failure with AI. And what I'm looking for is creativity, someone that's leaning in, experimenting. Failure is just as good of an answer as success. I recently brought on a PMM, and during that process, I had 3 candidates that literally could not answer that question. They're done. I'm not talking to them. This is now prerequisite stuff as far as I'm concerned.
I love that. I'll add
Cindy,
on
go ahead.
to a lot of what Megan was talking about. Totally agree. Same thing at Know Before. We actually hired a sort of an AI lead, and this part's really important too. It's not about being an AI developer, because again, we all talked about it as an ELT. We wanted someone who had the business lens first, and someone who could
Yep.
work cross-function across all of the departments, and particularly with the ELT. And so just like what Megan described, that person sits under our CIO's office. But again, it's very much, our partner. And then specifically in marketing, the other kind of tip I'll give everyone is I actually reorged my team to be much more aligned to the kind of having AI teammates, right? So these pods. So traditionally, we might have field marketing versus demand gen. Those lines are blurred now. And my expectation now is that the quote old field marketing title, that's gone. They're all revenue marketers in region, and they're doing just as much digital and AI driven, campaigns, et cetera, than versus like your traditional kind of field marketing. right? So that's really the shift and the focus that has changed. And I couldn't agree more with Mike. It's I'm asking the same kind of questions too. Like, tell me, give me a use case. What are you doing that's interesting? The ones that have built really interesting things, I highlight them at the marketing all hands. And it creates that prairie dog effect, right? Someone's like, oh, that person's getting praised, and let me go try something too. And that's the spirit that we want to create within marketing, because we all know this as CMOs and marketers. It's already so different from 5 years ago, right? Now it's changing like every 6, 7 months. We need to make sure that the marketers on our team, they have that spirit of learning and innovation as well.
And yeah, that's kind of been the best case is what we've seen is identifying a few people on your team to bring along those who may be a little more reluctant or kind of intimidated by it all. I think I'm going to skip over the governance question that we were going to talk about just in the interest of time, and let's move to our second poll to set up the following question, and that is its context is budget. And so has your budget increased, decreased, or stayed the same? And someone's going to say over what period of time? So let's compare like current to prior year. And when I say budget, I mean people, programs, and technology costs. So all in your marketing budget. And we also have a don't know yet, because that's a lot with AI at the moment. All right. How are we looking, Isabella?
Yeah, I think we can, that's good. We can end it.
That's interesting. So we got almost 40% increased. Can I do a quick audience question in addition to that? So of those who said increased, raise your hand. It's primarily technology costs. People costs? Okay. Program costs? Or something else? Brian just said people. Well, that's really interesting, because I was not thinking a lot of people in there because of, what we've been talking about with, I failed to mention I'm now working with Doug Anderson at DCALive, and we have a lot of conversations, and the common theme is we may not be doing any reductions in force, but we've got net new hires on hold because the mandate is see if AI can do it first. Try AI first. Okay, so let's talk about impacts to budget. Mike, do you want to go first?
Yeah, specific to AI and the technology itself, that's a centralized cost across the business. Okay. So I think technically it's probably rolling up to engineering, at least all the token expense. We have brought on, again, back into our ops team, some headcount. But I will say one of the things it's doing for us, and we've all brought this up a little bit already, it's giving us an opportunity to really leverage the existing resources, team members that we already have. We are getting more productivity out of the team members that we have, keeping us from having to hire incrementally to be able to accomplish tasks. So I think it's helping us to be able to stay focused on what we have, let team members be productive, and keep as much of that budget back to programs to drive demand.
Yeah, that's the answer we're hearing across all functions where you're talking about marketing, finance, ops. Let's get the people we have more productive as opposed to hiring net new bodies. Cindy.
Yeah.
Impacts the budget.
So I answered it's the same. It's actually the budget is the same. It didn't go up. However, I have I did have a larger growth target for the company, right? So in a way, you can call it almost like think of it like a budget decrease, because your growth targets are higher and you're expected to do it with the same amount. And the people side definitely was not increasing. Our costs were really going to be going more towards, the AI tools for better campaigns and more leads. So that's really where the shift in the mix is from on our side. And then, really, I mean, a lot of these tools, right, they are they give you a great deal in year one, and then they're raising their prices in year two and year three. Because again, a lot of them are startup companies. So we kind of have to bake that into the budget as well.
That's it. That's a good point. Megan, how about you on the budget?
I'm kind of in agreement with Cindy. I would say the one thing that has changed is that to quantify it, there's more output expected with every dollar. So if we had a Romy before, a 7-to-1 or 3-to-1, now it's doubled, right? Like the expectation of what you get out of every dollar is definitely increased. And I think that's why the boards and leaders are doubling on what expectations are going to be, because they believe they can get it through all of these tools that we have, but no impact to program or people spend.
Interesting. Okay. Moving to let's move to use cases, kind of our show and tell, since we've got 20 minutes left, and I did want to get to some questions. So, Cindy, do you want to go first with whatever use case you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I'm happy to share. I'll share with everyone. There's a company that we started using, and I'll share it on my screen here, called Tofu, and it is an AI-powered integrated marketing platform. And I remember speaking at the last webinar, I was still, kind of mid-process on buying this product, and we had it turn it live probably in like the July, late July timeframe. And by the end of the year, we had some really great results with this. And this kind of goes to what I was talking about on blurring the lines between like what's traditionally called field marketing versus digital or revenue marketing. What it does, it's actually really, really interesting. You can take, for instance, some of your research reports, your brand colors, and you upload it into Tofu, and it will automatically, and you can see here, right, it will create for you an email, a landing page. It'll help you create your ad copy, a blog to go along with it, an email to customers, an email internally, whatever, the social media tiles. It's actually pretty good. It will do it in multiple languages too. So this is my little tip for everyone. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. It's a startup company, but the stuff is like 80, 85% pretty good. So you still need your team to do a lot of the QA, etc. But in regards to being able to very quickly create an integrated marketing program, not just a blog, not just a landing page, right, but to do it all together, this one was really, really very much a game changer for us, particularly when I'm supporting, countries around the world, and KnowBe4's product is in 31 languages. I had to support 7 in marketing, right? So this was something that I found very, very helpful.
All right, good tip. I'm sure everybody's taking notes. Mike.
Yeah, this is a little different one. I don't have pretty pictures to speak to, so close your eyes and imagine. As we all know, Reddit is becoming a very, very, very valuable resource for helping to become a corpus for training foundation models. Okay, if that's new news, maybe that's a good tip for this one. It is used because there's context of what the issue is, and LLMs really like quick little factoids. So using Reddit in particular to help build up knowledge as the LLMs get trained is foundational. So if we start thinking about whether you call it GEO or AEO, whatever the 3-letter acronym is related to how we get organic traffic, seeding brand and areas of expertise in Reddit is critical for all of us. So we set out to do 2 things with Reddit. One, we wanted to be able to find the communities that are discussing areas where we think we have area of expertise and can offer value. But 2, we wanted to see if we could also find a way to agentically contribute back into those conversations. So we initiated a program internally that we call Reddit Rodeo. And Reddit Rodeo is an agentic workflow process that is constantly scrubbing all of Reddit, evaluating subject matter that is important to us. And we have a rubric that is interrogated. And based on the subject matter, we will go ahead and score it against the rubric. And if it scores high enough, we'll then move it through a separate process where we will create a proposed response with our opinionated view of what is being discussed. And then we have a series of SMEs within the business that operate as, humans on the loop that can take that answer and put it into their own words or just copy and paste it back into the thread. So the whole intent is we're playing a long game with GEO, AEO to be able to start building up credibility and authority around subject matter that we think we have a biased opinion on. Early days, but we are starting to see lead sources originating out of Reddit now as a result of this. So pretty exciting stuff.
I smirk every time I hear Reddit because, it used to be, we're not going to run ads on it. Lord knows what people are talking about on Reddit. And now, ironically, people are turning more and more to Reddit for opinions and advice and information because they're humans. And you're not getting it from a bot. So there's a really interesting turnaround for Reddit. All right, Megan,
I'm going to offer two quick ones.
Use case.
Yeah, two quick use cases. One, we had a problem with people finding value in your product, right? Like many of us do. They've used your product for years and they no longer find the value. But what we were also finding was that maybe the code, the version that they were on is outdated. And if they would only upgrade to the right version, then the value would not only be realized, but there was an incremental gain for them. And so this is not my idea. It was a brilliant idea on behalf of the people that came up with it. They, through AI, coded just kind of the value calculator that produced in 2 seconds time, here is the ROI statement that if you would just upgrade, here's the value that your organization could have just by upgrading. You already paid for it. It doesn't cost anymore. And, as I said, then that used as a sales tool, but it was completely automated. So brilliant idea that not only achieved getting people on the right version to prevent issues from happening, but it produced value to the customers. That was one. One other that any one of us could apply in what we do with our programming is that many of us commission reports, surveys, white papers we might be authoring, and we do it for the purpose of the greater good, right? We want to see conversions. I want to get downloads out of it. I want it to get referenced in a lot of news articles in the future. But oftentimes the way those things get commissioned, it was one person's idea. And we said, wait a minute, we spend a lot of time and a lot of money to commission a particular document, and we think it's going to have this reach. But instead of just going with the same approach we normally did, we said, let's actually survey, chat, and we looked at what type of talking points are going to get the most pickup by these type of journalists. Then we wanted to know what type of talking points would need to be in this document, this content that's going to get the visibility of the C-suite. And through those questions, that's what formulated and framed the content, the agenda, the outline, very differently than what we would have gone in with. But marketing took the lead on that. It wasn't engineering, it wasn't sales, it wasn't all the people that normally would have taken their voices would have controlled what the outline was. Marketing took the lead and said, let's go make sure we know what this type of content piece is going to produce because these are the results we want. And by doing so, not only did it cut down the cycle for production, but it gave crystal clear clarity as to what needed to be written about and what the data was that we were going to need to support it so that we could reach that very audience that we were going after. So just a very different approach to something that we do every day that we take for granted. I need a white paper on this topic because we keep losing deals because of it. No. Let's take a different approach to how we solve that problem. And it was just doing it through a prompt engine that was going to ensure that we were going to reach the right audience with the right value message, but with the right talking points that was going to render the results we wanted to see.
That's super cool. Cindy, I'm going to add one because this reminds me of something you talked about the last time we had this conversation about how you had built an internal AI. I can't believe I'm about to say intranet, but portal that you could actually drop, let's say, an email that was going to a CISO. You could drop it in, and based on some synthetic personas, that portal would spit back to you whether or not that message is going to resonate.
Yeah, that's exactly. We built a virtual CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, it had a name, it had everything, and it was actually pretty accurate. And you can feed a lot of your kind of questions on content stuff, like very much like what Megan was talking about.
Yep.
And but what I really loved about Megan's example is that it's not just to prospects. I love that, Megan, you mentioned to the media, for instance, if you wanted that big quote, kind of, I always go back, I say to my team, I love how every Black Friday, like the day after, CNBC, whatever, they're all citing the Adobe Retail Insights report, right? Like, how did we do Black Friday? It's always the Adobe report. And I'm like, that's our North Star. Like, we want to create like the industry report for whatever company we're at. Like that becomes sort of like the main, mic drop moment, right? Is like if your report can be cited. And then for our space,
Right.
it's very much the Verizon data breach, report, right? The DBIR every year. That's a very big one. So it's I love that, Megan. I learned from you on that one too.
Thank you.
Those are great examples. Thank you. Okay, we've got about 9 minutes left. Let's open it up to questions. What do we got?
I'll start. So Mike, I loved how you're talking about the agentic workflows. And I'm curious, your ops person, like who's actually creating the actual workflows itself? Are you outsourcing that piece? Because just for sort of background, I work for Samanova. I run marketing there. It's AI. It's an AI inference provider hardware, right? So I'm heavily in this space. So I feel a lot more pressure because I'm in that space to be doing it, because otherwise they're like, well, you're in the wrong place, right? So I'm curious around how are you actually building the agentic workflows? Are you outsourcing that? Are you internally using that? Are you using Lovable? Like, how are you actually building that out?
Yep, great question. We created a Tiger team, a cross-functional Tiger team that's headquartered in ops. And we have people that represent each key function. So our marketing ops person is a part of this Tiger team. We have standardized on using N8N. So letter N, 8, letter N. So if you're not familiar with that, look it up. Fantastic tool. And then we have this Tiger team who meets weekly, and they curate a list of needs from the business cross-functionally. And we have a rubric that scores things up and down. And depending on the need, if it's more of a RevOpsy kind of thing, then we have someone from the RevOps team who is entitled with all the appropriate access to be able to build that workflow, working on that one. If it's something that's more marketing centric, the Reddit thing I just told you, our marketing ops person actually built that. But the team works together so that they can build a common knowledge, understanding how the tooling works, how the N8N stuff works, so that they all can start building a common domain area of expertise, right, on how the tooling works. And then for specific business processes, because they are more closely seated into that group, our marketing ops person is going to do a better job with something that's marketing centric than maybe someone that needs to go, hit BigQuery and tie back to Salesforce or whatever it might be. Yeah, that's how we're dividing and conquering right now. I will say, though, we have quickly realized we want to bring someone in who runs that team, that is kind of the AI leader, so to speak. And I think Megan was touching on that very early in the conversation. So we have quickly realized we need that governance leadership role as well. So something that we're looking after and hiring for literally right now.
Thank you.
Mike, who was that person report to?
Good question. We're actually in live discussion right now. In fact, they're poking me. We think we might be upskilling the resource. So who it was originally going to report to and how now who it may be reporting to is differently, but it's all in the ops org.
Okay.
To directly answer that question, whether it's running to the top paycheck there or one of those lieutenants is what we're contemplating right now.
So COO or lieutenant, likely?
Yep, correct.
Okay, which makes sense because that's a cross-functional responsibility.
Oh, sorry. Just I don't know if you saw that Bob had raised his hand.
Oh, but then Bob, you're up.
Hi. Good stuff, everybody. Thank you very much for this. So my question is about the top-down versus bottoms-up method of stimulating AI ideas and usage. I heard someone say, maybe Megan, tell the team they have to come to the party with something. And I thought that was great. I've also heard some leaders say that that kind of request leaves people sort of slack-jawed and they don't know where to start or what to do. So I was just wondering, are there companies that are taking a more top-down approach to saying, here we've done some research, here are three things we're going to test, everyone test it, instead of waiting for the team to sort of bubble things up?
I'll just speak from my experiences, right? As the leader, I think every one of us has the burden to become very knowledgeable in AI, right? We cannot just say, you go do this, but we don't have the knowledge ourselves. I sat on a call this morning and it's all about vibe coding. And I'm like, I'm leaning in, here's what I'm doing with it today so that I can go show the team tomorrow, for example, what I did and created. And I do think there has to do that. But at the same time, I think it's incumbent upon the leader to provide some training. And there are so many tools out there or people, whether you hire a Lisa or you hire a Nicole and Leffler, and you pay for the team to at least get some familiarity. I think many people fear from the imposter syndrome. I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm doing. And the number one response back is you just have to get in there and try. And so it's got to come bottoms up, top down. But as leaders, we have to be able to show by example. So I created the video avatar one myself. Like I had never used it. I tried it. I'm like, hey, here's me. And I created this quick little video. And then I showed people how I coded something. I even taught them, Cindy was with me. And Cindy's got the book right behind her from Jeffrey Woods. He talks about the CRIT framework. And so I did an entire brown lunch on what CRIT means. I even went to UT and taught business school students the CRIT framework because I was so impressed with it. So I just think it's incumbent upon us to take that leadership role from a top down, but also with our peers. And so on the other side, I know one of our engineering leaders is geeked out in this stuff. And I was sitting with him and I said, where do you go learn? How do you have time to dabble in this? And he said, I have to do it on the weekends or I do it late at night, but I take the time. And I said, could you show me something? And so one other quick, and I'll end here, idea is whether you use Teams or Slack to create a channel dedicated to use cases of like, hey, here's something I want to do. Does anyone know how to do this? And surprisingly, it's people not necessarily in your department that will be able to chime in. And so just create that Slack channel. And then other people will be like, hey, I was geeking out tonight and here's what I created, just wanted to share. Like I created a calendar for all my kids' sports activities, right? Great, something simple. But oftentimes when you are trying to infuse the use case with people, if you get them to do it on something personal first, then the adoption will be better. And it was one of these calls where they said, by the end of whatever our training session was, everyone was going to be capable of ordering a Domino's pizza completely autonomous through AI. And that was the goal of the training. But they took something that was personal to them, and that's what they made the use case be. Then the intimidation factor went away.
Yeah, taking something that's kind of scary and intimidating and make it really relatable.
Yes.
All right, we have 2 minutes. I want to do a quick lightning round and do a combo. I'm calling an audible. For our panelists, if you answer the question, and then everybody else in the chat, if you could only have one AI tool, all you got, what would it be? So, Cindy, what's yours?
All right, tofu. I already shared it.
Tofu. Okay. Mike.
Claude Code.
Claude Code. Okay.
In fact, just to interrupt for a second, I just posted 2 articles into the chat that I wrote recently, all related to how I use Claude Code. Big hint, half of it has nothing to do with writing code, has everything to do with producing content. But read both of those. I think they're an interesting, at least for me anyways, it was a fascinating journey and learning opportunity.
All right, Megan.
I was going to say Claude. So I'll deviate. I've been using a different tool for PowerPoint generation. I'm going to lean on Claude a little bit more, but someone to help me with the slideware. And I've used one tool, but I think Claude is where I would have answered to do that.
Okay. All right. Throw it in the chat. Brian just mentioned Clay. I've heard that several times from clients that we've worked with.
Yep. Brian mentioned, I think Udemy. Is that what
Yes. Also Udemy for good AI training.
Got it. I'm going to be saving the chat, by the way. If you want to.
They have some good classes too. SmarterX, if you want to look into that for your teams.
All right. Patrick said Gamma for PowerPoint.
Yep.
Hopefully, Kelly, that answered your question. All right, we're right at 1 o'clock. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you very much to the panelists for being willing to do this today. Cindy, this is a repeat performance for you, so thank you very much. I hope my goal in any event that I'm involved in is you walk away with at least one nugget that you're going to go help you do your job better. So hopefully we achieve that goal. Maybe you have 2 or 3. And we'll see you, for those in DC, hopefully we'll see you live for an anniversary event. And
Happy
we'll see you back
anniversary
on
event.
screen.
Yes. Plan on
Yes.
I want to do a plug for that.
All right. And Nicole got her nugget for sure. Thank you, Nicole, for that. I can head off into the weekend feeling good.
Have a nice walk, Brian.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks for
Grandchild is
Wesley
very
joining
lucky.
us.
Yeah, thanks for coming along for the ride. I've already walked 1.25 miles. And he's out cold.
All right. We're happy to support your babysitting efforts. All
There
right.
you go.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you all. Thank
Cheers.
you.